49ers to be 0-4. So, Coach, what's the message that you deliver to your team heading into this game?
Win. That's it. Just come out tonight and do what we do. Nothing special. Just play our game, and we'll be fine.
Kevin Kolb gets the start at quarterback tonight in place of the injured Michael Vick. What's the difference defending Vick and Kolb?
Michael Vick, obviously, when he takes off and run, he really presents a problem and really predicts some of the coverages that you can play. But Kolb certainly is elusive as well, but he doesn't have Michael Vick's speed.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. See you at halftime.
Thank you.
And Al, Vick's not the only Eagle starter missing tonight's game. Pro Bowl cornerback Asante Samuel is out with a concussion, but the Eagles' leading rusher and receiver, LaShawn McCoy, will go despite a broken rib, and he's expected to play his normal role.
And they hope he does, because he's averaging over 5 yards per carry. Andy Reid, if there's a word to describe him, and we've used it before, it's unflappable. So when you look at the exteriors of these two coaches tonight, you couldn't have more of a contrast.
What does that mean, Mike? Singletary is flappable? I don't know.
Oh, he can't flap those wings
because
those lips.
They are opposites.
Ted Ginn Jr., who's been hurt since week 1, is going to run back the David Akers kickoff. And away we go from San Francisco with the ball taken at the 5-yard line. And Ginn, a few years back, the #1 draft choice of the Miami Dolphins, runs it back to midfield to get this crowd already stoked over their baseball Giants victory. Another chance to roar. Let's take a look at the 49er offense.
Alex Smith, Utah. Frank Gore, the U.
Moran Norris, Madison High School.
Michael Crabtree, Texas Tech.
Joshua Morgan, Virginia Tech.
Vernon Davis, Maryland Terrapins.
Joe Staley, Central Michigan Chippewas.
Mike Upatu, Idaho.
David Boss, Michigan.
Charlie Rochelle, the USC.
Anthony Davis, Rutgers.
2 rookies, both drafted in the first round up front. And they begin with Gore. We figure to see a steady dose of him, and then he slips on the grass as he crosses midfield and gets to the 48-yard line. Alex Smith, the #1 draft choice overall back in 05, came out of Utah, played there for Urban Meyer, made him a starter right off the bat. Then he lost his job. Along the way, 2 shoulder surgeries, had a chance to leave, but he said, no, I want to stay. I came here to start something, and I want to finish it. Wasn't even the starter last year, and then because of an injury, he gets the job back, and he's been their guy all the way for this season. But Chris, still a big mystery. A lot of question marks.
And a lot of interceptions.
2nd down and 6. And Gore cuts it back and comes close to getting a first down. Frank Gore taking the ball to the 41-yard line.
Well, a young offensive line up here for the San Francisco 49ers, and Anthony Davis right out here on the outside. They're going to go a little power football. That's the way they play. They like double teams, work up late on the linebackers. And their hard-charging running back Frank Gore can get it done. There is an Eagle, though, down on the field.
That's Broderick Bunkley. You saw him in that shot. So the Eagle tackle. Philly plays a base 4-3, and Bunkley and Mike Patterson are the starting tackles, so he is hurt. An injury timeout here, and a 3rd down and inches coming up when we come back. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Nissan, inviting you to trip the way you move. By Papa John's, you can order a pizza online at papajohns.com. And by Bud Light, it's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Again, a look at the Golden Gate Bridge, about 10 miles from Candlestick Park. Antonio Dixon comes in along the defensive front for Philadelphia to replace Broderick Bunkley, and it's a first down for Gore. So we talked about a steady diet of Frank Gore, and there's a look at Bunkley, who got hurt his arm or shoulder.
Yeah, he reaches out with his left arm there. You see it, and then you'll see it sort of contort backwards. And that would be a big loss. These 2 big guys inside, Bunkley and Mike Patterson. plays such a key role. They did plan on playing Antonio Dixon, number 90, tonight, a little more anyway because of his bigger body.
And now maybe a lot more. Gore again. 4 plays, 4 Gore carries, but nothing happening this time. Nate Allen, great-looking rookie, comes up to make the stop. And let's take a look at that Eagle D.
Quay Parker, Oklahoma State.
Mike Patterson, D, Southern California.
Broderick Bunkley, Florida State University.
Trent Cole, Cincinnati.
Moses Foku, Maryland.
Stu Bradley, Nebraska.
Ernie Sims, Florida State.
Celio Hansen, Texas Tech.
Nate Allen, South Florida.
Quentin Michael, Boise State.
Ellis Hobbs III, Iowa State.
The safeties have been playing extremely well. In fact, Andy Reid, when we talked to him about the guys who played best for the first month of the season, mentioned them 1-2. They set up the screen, and this is Gore. And Gore to the 39-yard line. And Chris, in all the years I've been and you've been talking to coaches, I've never asked the coach who've been your best players, and the first 2 guys he talks about are safeties. What does that tell you?
Well, maybe it's not a good sign. Maybe they're making too many tackles on the back end. But I think this rookie, Nate Allen, has just impressed everybody. His demeanor, first of all, they say he looks like an investment banker when he gets on the plane. Very intelligent young man. He's added some speed on the back end, which they needed to cover sideline to sideline, and that's allowed Quentin Michael to play his game more coming down to stop the run.
Allen already with 3 interceptions in his first 4 games. Rookie out of South Florida. 3rd and 10 now. Smith has time. Smith does it, and it is caught. The catch is made by Dominique Ziegler. Second-year guy out of Baylor, can help you on special teams. They can spot him, and right here a 20-yard gain on a 3rd and 10.
Well, Dominic Ziegler came up with a big punt block last week. They've really been impressed with the way he's been making plays. That Tampa 2 that you hear so much about, the split safeties, tight end running down the middle. But here Nate Allen has to be able to get out there on Ziegler, but a great throw and catch and down the field. That's significant for the 49ers.
Good opening drive, as was the case last week. Here's Gore again. Last week in Atlanta, they drove down the field after taking the opening kickoff and scored a touchdown. And that was significant in that Jimmy Ray was fired as the offensive coordinator the week before. Mike Johnson, who'd been the quarterback coach, is now the offensive coordinator. And there is Johnson behind the glass. But that turned out to be the 49ers' only offensive touchdown last week.
Yeah, and this offense now is changing gears. They are going from let's not make a mistake to let's go make a play. And that's what Mike Johnson has brought more than anything else.
2nd and 9. Smith flushed out. Keeps his eyes downfield. Finds the open man. Hits Frank Gore, who takes it to the 3. We talked about him as a workhorse. He's a complete back. Flag on the play. He runs the ball. He catches the ball. He blocks. He never wants to come out of the game. Walt Anderson is the referee.
An eligible player downfield, number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
And that's one of the rookies, the rookie left guard.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen when you've got that much time and Smith is running around trying to find an open man.
That's exactly right. Watch Frank Gore here in the backfield. He's going to get trapped inside. So Alex Smith really has no choice but to buy a little time and wait for him to get out. Well, Mike Iupati, he has no idea that all that's going on back there. He's just doing his job. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, and I'm going. And the timing of the play fouled all of it up.
Well, guess who's in the game? Eagle fans will recognize the guy in the backfield. It's Brian Westbrook. And Westbrook behind an Anthony Davis block takes it to the 16. So the Eagles, of course, they trade McNabb. They let Westbrook go. He had a couple of concussions last year. And at the end of the season, they just felt, hey, look, he'd done yeoman work. He's one of the great Eagle backs of all time. But he was hurt, and he wasn't going to be able to, in the minds of Andy Reid and the Eagles, deliver what they needed. So he was a free agent, and he winds up signing with San Francisco, but it's only the 5th snap he has taken all season. 3rd and 8. Westbrook stays in. He flares to the left. The pass goes over the middle, and that is caught by Michael Crabtree, their #1 pick last season. Late in signing, came on, played well down the stretch. Second-year man out of Texas Tech, tackled on the play by Joselio Hansen, 1st and goal.
Yeah, you get the trips formation out to the outside, and Michael Crabtree with those sticky hands of his going to run out and then come back inside. And I tell you, when you watch him in practice, there you got it right outside, then back in. When you watch Crabtree in practice, that ball just sticks to his hands. Maybe some of the best hands I've seen.
Gore back in, and look out in the backfield. That is Trent Kolb. Made his second Pro Bowl last year with 12.5 sacks, and he'll also knock you down on the run behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, one thing you don't want to do is leave Trent Kolb unblocked. That is for sure. Right on the outside here. And he just says, hello, Frank. How are you? Nice to see you. That is their best defensive player now. Trent did not play particularly well last week in that game against the Redskins, but pretty fast start for him here tonight.
Second and goal, opening drive of the game. San Francisco has had the ball almost 7 minutes. This is the 11th play. 7 runs, 3 passes to this point. And that pass is caught in the end zone. Michael Crabtree for the touchdown.
Sticky. Watch these hands. Way out in front, barely got a chance to see the ball. Remember, Asante Samuel is out for the Eagles. That means Demetri Patterson has to play outside. He gets Crabtree and he gets burned early. That was impressive. That was a different looking 49ers offense coming down the field with big throws down the field.
First touchdown of the season for Crabtree. Nedney now for the point after. It all got started with that Ted Ginn 44-yard kickoff return to the 49er 49. So off go the 49ers on the opening drive to a 7-0 lead at home. If you go to NBCSports.com, you can check out the Sunday Night Experience, Sunday Night Football Extra, a lot of great stuff. You can chat with Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio during the game. There are a few things to chat about these days.
Oh, there's one or two.
Just
absolutely.
a couple. 7-0, San Francisco on top. Joe Nedney to kick off. Ellis Hobbs back for the Eagles. Hobbs at the 4-yard line. To the 25-yard line, and so almost 7.5 minutes into the game, we're finally going to take a look at Kevin Kolb in the Eagle offense. First things first, the defensive tackle Broderick Bunkley back in the locker room, sprained out elbow, and his return is doubtful. So that, of course, will impact the defense. Now the offense.
A lot of changes on that Eagles defense now. It's going to be interesting to see how they mix and match.
Kevin Kolb, he was the opening day starter. Dry sense of humor. He said, hey, I plan to be starting in week 5, and here I am. And he hands the ball off to McCoy, and he gets a great block from the fullback, Owen Schmidt.
Goodness gracious. Owen Schmidt is supposed to be a receiving fullback. Watch this. He decided he's going to be a power fullback today. Oh, my goodness. Shante Spencer got the full brunt of that one. He's coming. Oh, wow. That'll wake you up.
He's done a nice job filling in for Leonard Weaver, who was hurt before the season started and is on injured reserve. Now out of the gun on 2nd down and 2. And that's Macklin, and he'll make the catch at the 38 as we take a look at the Philly starters.
Kevin Kolb, Houston.
LaShawn McCoy, Pitt Panthers.
Owen Schmidt, West Virginia.
Deshaun Jackson, Long Beach Poly. Jeremy Macklin, Mizzou Tigers.
Brent Selleck, Cincinnati.
Jason Peters, Arkansas.
Tyler Herman, Saginaw Valley.
Mike McGlynn, Pitt. Max Gene Gillis, Georgia.
Winston Justice, Southern Cal.
At their best, these guys could look like a 4x100 relay team. And now you've got Kolb coming back to the other side and hitting the wide open Brent Selleck, going across the field, showing his arm strength, and he takes the ball to the 30-yard line.
That's sneaky. Brent Selleck coming out late over here. They're going to run a bootleg away, and the tight end Selleck, number 87, is just going to sneak out the back door. He looked like he's blocking the whole way. And the big issue in Philadelphia, well, one of the issues in Philadelphia this week, is could Kevin Kolb get the ball down the field the way that Mike Vick has? Well, that answered that.
32-yard gain. Now McCoy again playing with that cracked rib. I'm sorry, it's Mike Bell, and he gets taken down. There is McCoy is not coming back in. Bell came in for that one play. Again, McCoy playing with that cracked rib. And Bell was the leading ground gainer for New Orleans last year, but there's a tremendous drop-off if McCoy can't take the full load, and that was the question for Andy Reid coming into the game. 2nd and 9. Niners pressure. Screen is set up. McCoy, and he gets tripped up. That'll save a first down. 3rd and short. Let's take a look at the 49er defense.
Isaac Tupuola, Hawaii. O'Brien Franklin, Tennessee.
Justin Smith, Missouri.
Manny Lawson, North Carolina State.
Takeo Spikes, Auburn. Patrick Willis, Ole Miss.
Paris Harrison, Tennessee.
Shante Spencer, Pittsburgh.
Deshaun Golson, Washington.
Taylor Mays, O'Day High School.
Nate Clements, The Ohio State University.
Now the Wildcat, and Deshaun Jackson takes the snap, and he's going to get the first down, and he's out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
Well, I tell you what, when you get the Wildcat with Deshaun Jackson in there, you'll see everybody sort of circling over here to the right-hand side. You fake it, and then you bring out somebody with the speed of Deshaun Jackson. That's an interesting look. The Wildcat looks a little different when you have a guy running a 4.25 coming out of the backfield.
That is Jackson's 4th rush of the season. And with 4.5 to go, here is McCoy to the 11-yard line. He cracked that rib last week in the first half against Washington, but looked great in the second half, and he's wearing a little bit of a padding underneath to protect the area.
Yeah, and I think that if you ask most people, there you saw the pad on the back as well. You ask most people, the biggest difference so far, conversations number 1 is Mike Vick, but conversation number 2 is the difference in LeSean McCoy. Much stronger below the waist now. He has really turned himself into a power back.
Trying to protect the lower left back. Cobb with that shoulder shake. Finds time. And then after checking off and checking down, goes to the 3-yard line where he hits Jason Avant. So Kevin Kolb coming out and looking very sharp on this opening drive. He is 4 for 4 for 51 yards.
One thing that's been impressive with Kevin Kolb, watch him read this out. He's going to start far outside, a little pump fake, not there, come back inside, not there, scramble, eyes still up the field. There you go. That's the way Joe Montana used to run the West Coast offense. Pretty good.
Let's go.
2 impressive opening drives, huh?
Very. McCoy. And he'll angle his way in, but a flag comes in from referee Walt Anderson. He throws it from the offensive backfield.
Holding, number 79, offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
And one of the reasons they may have had a hole that big is Todd Herman's with a hold.
Well, that has been a part of the story for Philadelphia as well. All the holds, all the penalties, all the mistakes on this offensive line. They've given up sacks. Here they're in the end zone, and you can see them just as soon as Justin Smith starts to pull away to make that tackle. You grab the shoulder pads. Good call by the officials. It has been an epidemic on that left side. Jason Peters last week. Todd Herman's here now.
Mike Bell is back in as the running back. And on 1st and goal, they set up a screen. Avant has some blockers, but right there is Nate Clements coming up from the corner to make the tackle inside the 10-yard line. Good block by King Dunlap on the play. Well, and speaking of Peters, that's why I mentioned Dunlap's name, because Peters got hurt, and there he is needing attention on the sideline.
It's pretty amazing that we've seen this number of injuries and this number of changes for Philadelphia. And that's a big one. Jason Peters is a Pro Bowl left tackle, has had issues, but he is a dynamic player at that left tackle position.
2nd down and goal from the 8-yard line. Cobb under pressure, escapes, buying time, then throws and turns it into a touchdown. Brent Selleck with 2 huge receptions on that drive.
Well, this is just Kevin Kolb. He's no Mike Vick, but he does have the ability to get out and around. Brent Selleck staying in, trying to block on Manny Lawson. Just no match for him there. And Kevin Kolb's going to get creative on the outside, keeps it alive. And Brent Selleck, who was in there to block, escapes out the back door and ends up with a touchdown. So he misses the block and he gets a touchdown out of it.
Akers now for the extra point. That was a 75-yard drive, 5.5 minutes. Kolb was 6 for 6 for 64 yards. That ain't bad. Neither was Smith on the 49ers opening drive, 7 all. Hope you get a chance to discover The Event, NBC's new hit drama. The Event tomorrow night, Monday night, right here. 9 Eastern and Pacific, 8 Central and Mountain on NBC. Doesn't get any more beautiful than that, does it?
No, this was your home sweet home for a while, wasn't it?
Lived there for 12 years. Oh, yeah. Fabulous. Great city, and what a sports weekend this has been here with the Giants and Cal and Stanford and everybody winning. Now it's up to the 49ers, Giants, and the Raiders as well. The Raiders upsetting San Diego across the bay.
Yeah, and the crowd really got into it, too. The end of the baseball game right before we kicked off, and there was a buzz going through this crowd.
Akers kicking off. Ted Ginn Jr. had a good run back on the opening run back from the 3. Steps out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Alex Smith and the offense going to work at that spot. 2:18 left in the quarter. 7-7. Chris, Brent Selleck's a good guy to go to even when he's not going to be a part of the play initially.
It is pretty interesting. You miss your block and you score a touchdown. Brent Selleck over here on Manny Lawson. And he just completely fans on this block. There's no other way to put it. Standing there watching his quarterback somehow escape and goes, well, I might as well go try and help him a little bit and get back in there with his lucky pink shoes and score a touchdown. I guess that's a plus and a minus on the score sheet.
6 of 6 for Kolb, 4 of 4 for Smith. There must be some kind of harmonic convergence tonight. The two quarterbacks are 10 for 10 on October 10th, 2010.
Sunday night football. Expect the unexpected.
We'll buy a lottery ticket. 10-10-10. And it's 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. Gore. Same way they started the last drive with Gore on the ground. And Frank in his 6th year out of Miami. Their 3rd-round draft pick in 05.
Well, a lot of changes on this Philadelphia Eagles defense, some because of injury. We told you about Asante Samuel, Joselio Hansen filling in for him, but Akeem Jordan and Moses Fokus switching jobs. Brandon Graham, the #1 pick, losing his job to Jaquay Parker on the outside, trying to find an answer for stopping the run, and in particular, Frank Gore now.
And again, Asante Samuel out tonight, and Bunkley probably done for the night as well. Hurt on the first series. Gore gets tackled there by Quentin Michael, and that's one of the things Andy Reid was saying. Look, we had to do that after last season. You know, they wound up trading McNabb. They made a lot of changes on offense, Westbrook gone, and all of the rest. But the big changes had to be on defense, and all you had to do was look at the draft to know that.
Yeah, and the Redskins, who aren't, or at least haven't proven to be a great running team, really ran over the Eagles a week ago, and they ran off tackle a lot. And you're seeing the 49ers so far in this game attacking that same spot.
3rd and 8. Pressure. Smith steps up. Nice elusive move, and over the middle, that's Michael Crabtree again. 1st down, he so signals, and so does Walt Anderson.
Well, first of all, this starts off with a great block by Frank Gore. Right here is going to step up and fill that A gap to make sure his quarterback has time. But then watch Alex Smith. He makes the first man miss coming through there, and that's really what made the play. That little step up, that little awareness, He looks much more poised here playing at home. Remember, they've only had one home game, and they barely lost to the Saints, and that one hit.
Goes from 10 to the 42-yard line. And Gore loses the ball. It is loose. And Stuart Bradley is the guy who creates the fumble, and Philadelphia with a big turnover in the waning seconds of the first quarter.
Well, we talked about the change, and Moses Foku, what a shot he laid on Frank Gore here.
Hansen makes the recovery.
There's Foku coming right across and just goes right across the ball there and gets the shot. You'll see him coming out of nowhere on this one. Head right on the ball. It's gone. Big play already. You make the change at linebacker, and it pays off.
Good double move there. Foku whacks him, and then Bradley is able to punch the ball out. 45-yard line. Cobb, a ton of time, and over the middle, and he winds up hitting Jeremy Maclin. And that's going to take us to the end of the quarter. It'll be 1st and 10 for Philadelphia when we start the second period. End of the first quarter with the score. Philadelphia 7, San Francisco 7. And NBC Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. Aerial coverage tonight being brought to you by Geico. Alcatraz in San Francisco Bay. Great vacation spot. Not.
That's like, what? Did they turn that into one of your famous hotels?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. Motel 1. LaShawn McCoy is the back here. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Andrew Kramer in San Francisco. Second quarter begins to the 29-yard line. Well, with Vick and Cobb and all that's been going on there, when Vick hurt, of course, and they hope to have him back next week or the week after. You can see the yards per pass and the targets downfield, and the wrap on Cobb admit he can't get the ball downfield. And throwing to Deshaun Jackson, Michael established great chemistry with him, as you can see, 324. And before tonight's game, Jackson had caught only 2 passes from Cobb. Then again, Cobb only played in the opener and then came in for 3/4 of the game last week. 2nd down and 7, and Cobb stays perfect at the 20-yard line. That is Jeremy Maclin for a first down.
Well, so far in the first quarter of this one, no problem throwing it down the field. Some of it off of the bootleg action. He's been showing some mobility, maybe not Mike Vick, but good enough to get out and around. And really, he has been creating when his initial look has not been there. He has had to try and just get out of the pocket. And here's buddy Brent Selleck, almost got him killed, but made up for it by scoring a touchdown for him.
Philadelphia, Jason Peters is on the sideline, sprained left knee. His return is questionable, so up front they are really paste and glue right now. And this is McCoy. And on top of that, Jamal Jackson would have been their center at the beginning of the season, but he got hurt. So you've got McGlynn, and now King Dunlap has to come in, and you got Max Gene Gillis filling whatever role needs to be filled.
Yeah, I mean, you go right down the list. Nick Cole was supposed to be there. Reggie Wells was supposed to be there. Todd Hermans was hurt in training camp. They've been mixing and matching all season long, and really the 49ers probably are going to attack the inside of this, but who knows now? Maybe they come after King Dunlap.
And they did go after King Dunlap, and that was Justin Smith on cue, Chris. King Dunlap playing the left tackle spot, and Justin Smith, 10th year in the league, never misses a start. He's played in 144 straight games.
And Justin Smith is just an old pro. He sees the new guy in there. Watch him get up underneath the pads here and just cram him right back into Kevin Kolb. And I think that's Justin Smith's first sack this year, although he has about 15 hits on the quarterback this year. That's the first time he's actually been able to take him down. So already the Jason Peters injury, significant.
3rd and 10. Cobb still backing up, and then throws, and he finds his fullback Owen Schmidt, safety valve, to the 15. So after the turnover, Philadelphia stopped at the 15, and that means about a 33-yard field goal attempt coming up for the venerable one. David Akers is Frank Gore gets a tape job on the sideline. Akers still one of the very best kickers in the league at age 36.
Perfect again this season, and it's always nice to have one of those old heads around, isn't it? I'd much rather have the guy that's going to make them all from 45 in than occasionally make one over 50.
John Dornbus snapping. Sav Rocca, who serves as the punter, will do the holding. And a 33-yarder off the left foot of Akers is good. Turnover is the difference in the game right now. 3 points for Philly. They're up 10-7. Sunday Night Football from San Francisco, brought to you by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL. By BMW, the ultimate driving machine. By Subway Restaurants, try the newest $5 footlong Sunrise Subway Melt. And by Nike. Traffic moving very nicely along the Golden Gate tonight. Speedboat. Larkspur Ferry got over there in about a minute and 10 seconds. The tricks of the trade.
Yes, indeed. How about this game? Yeah, we knew all along there wouldn't be an incomplete pass at this point in the game. 11:45 to go in the second quarter. Two young quarterbacks who have so much to prove, and they've been absolutely flawless so far.
Smith awaiting his next chance. 5 of 5 on that first drive, and then the Gore fumble leading to Philadelphia's field goal. 10-7, Philadelphia. Philly trying to go to 3-2, and of course Candlestick Park notorious for the win. Though normally October is by far the best month here. Not even close.
Nobody's complaining today, that's for sure.
Nope. Down on the field before the game, and it was hot. The sun going down right now. Whole stadium encased in shade. A little cooler, a little breezy. And Akers will send it down again, playing for the first time since opening day when he hurt his knee. And again, he will be taken out of bounds near the 30-yard line. One thing about Alex Smith, through week 4, through last week in the red zone, he's been outstanding, second highest ranking in the league. But you get him outside the red zone, in other words, the other 80 yards of the field. You'll see that right here, and it's a completely different story.
Yeah, and so he's had the trouble between the 20s, but here he goes again in the red zone tonight. And beautiful throw into Crabtree, but you could just see when we were talking with him, he wasn't down in the dumps. He's thrown 7 interceptions. A lot of guys hang their head, especially in our meetings, but he was enthusiastic about what was to come.
Frank Gore. And I mean, let's cut to the chase too here. You know, Jimmy Ray was the offensive coordinator, and it wasn't working. It just wasn't, even though he was back for a second year. And I think part of the juice that Smith now has is at least he's got a new guy in the building with him.
Yeah,
a new guy in the sense that he was the quarterback's coach, but he's now calling the plays.
And a guy that preaches confidence more than anything else, and Mike Johnson. And they are trying to now work the ball down the field in a way that they didn't do with Jimmy Ray, and they are game planning in a way that they didn't do with Jimmy Ray.
2nd and 8. And that was Trent Kolb coming across the line. And because he did, there was a flinch for the 49ers.
Neutral zone infraction, number 58, defense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, Trent Kolb was well across the line and then put it in reverse. Joe Stanley said, wait a minute, I'm not allowed to move, but I'm not going to let you hit my quarterback either. But it was interesting, though, when we talked to Mike Singletary about the firing of Jimmy Ray, and he said, you know, I'm a loyalty guy. I'm a guy that believes if you go to the dance with somebody, you know, you leave with them, and it almost killed him to have to fire him. But he said, that's my job. I've got to make the tough calls, and I did.
2nd and 3 in the inside handoff to Gore. And the thing about it was, too, I mean, they played a terrible game in Kansas City. They just looked dreadful. And were beaten 31-10, and they were asking, the crowd doesn't like, the crowd wants more wide open. Of course, they always want more wide open here with Montana and Young and Garcia through the years. But they get back home, and then Mike decides that night, after a long plane ride, I've got to make a change, and he calls Mike Johnson at 11:30 Sunday night. And Johnson is not sure if he's getting fired.
Yeah, he didn't know. He didn't know if we were all getting fired or what. He said, come on into the office. We need to have a conversation. And found out he was the new offensive coordinator.
3rd and 1. Good play fake. That buys time. And then it's gunned over the middle, and it's caught at the 45-yard line by Crabtree for a first down. Ted Ginn Jr. making the catch.
What a great route by Ted Ginn. We saw him run this play in practice, and they threw it deep. But Ted Ginn saw that the Eagles weren't fooled on this one. The safety stayed back, so instead of just keep running, stop, there you go. Just fire that baby in there. This is stuff that we have not seen out of this 49ers offense. 3rd and 1, take a shot 20 yards down the field. Exciting stuff.
Ginn's first catch. Crabtree scored 3. Smith is 6 out of 6 for 73. Gore. Well, they like what Smith's doing tonight, and they don't want to see, they love Gore, but enough of, running him through the middle for 1 yard, and you have a late flag on the play here.
I know Frank Gore doesn't want to see any more of Mike Patterson like that.
Illegal formation. The tight end was covered up on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Mike Upati here, the young offensive lineman right here, is going to work down on Patterson, but then try and work up on the linebacker. May have left a little too soon because Patterson just sat there and got in the back door on Frank Gore. Made a big hit.
Now you got Brian Westbrook. He's part of that bunch off to the right, and he will come in motion. Sidle up next to Alex Smith on the 1st and 15. They fake it to him, and then Smith has to slide to a halt at the 48-yard line. Ernie Sims put the pressure on to get Smith out of the pocket.
Brian Westbrook is the happiest guy in the building that Alex Smith didn't hand him that ball right here, and he is just going to catch Westbrook in mid-stride, and Alex Smith says, I'll just take that one out around, and that's a rare slide from Alex Smith too. Sometimes they'll go take that one in there head first.
Gore back in, 2nd and 12 at the 47-yard line. Deep, and then it's going to be picked off at the 3-yard line. Dimitri Patterson picking it off. Ted Ginn Jr. had to do a spin around to try to find the ball, and Patterson is there, and Philadelphia has his 2nd turnover. 2nd takeaway for the Eagles deep in their own territory. 10-7, Birds. Well, this week, 30 Rock is going to be live. So, and who better to pull it off than people like Tina Fey? They're used to it. And away they will go live. And as Gary Shandling once said, the magic is in the mistakes.
And nobody knows that better than us.
Right. One take, gang. Good luck. 30 Rock Thursday, NBC. After the interception from the 3-yard line, buying some breathing room is Bell, and let's go back to the pick.
Well, this was not a horrible read by Alex Smith. They're going to shift their safeties here and here, so you end up one-on-one on the outside. The problem is the real throw is to Vernon Davis across here. Really not open going down the field, and Vernon Davis right there, that's the easier throw, and Vernon's going to go up and make a play. Ted Ginn, for all his speed, is not exactly Larry Fitzgerald going up and getting the ball in the air.
Smith going over the pictures. McCoy comes back in as the running back on 2nd down and 7. And here is LaShawn. And a good little dart move to the outside. Breaks the tackle, and that will pick up a first down as he got out of the would-be grasp of Shawntae Spencer. First down, Philadelphia.
I tell you what, Al, that's not a rare move for him. This young man has been doing this a lot. Watch this little jump cut in the hole now. Two guys have him dead to right. Goodbye. Right out there. And the amazing thing about him now is that he's starting to break some tackles, but has maintained his speed. All that weightlifting. He stayed in Philadelphia this offseason, and you can just see the difference. This young man, he was a little green last year. He made a lot of mistakes. He hesitated. He wasn't sure. This year, a totally different, totally more dynamic player.
One kid, too. Here is Cobb throwing. Intended for Jackson. He's blanketed by Clemens, and it'll be second down and 10.
You know, it's interesting, too, that Brian Westbrook, the guy now playing for the San Francisco 49ers, is the one that really told LaShawn McCoy, listen, you're a great player, you're fast, you're quick, but you're not strong enough, and you've got to start lifting. He did, and it's really paid off so far this year.
That was Cobb's first incomplete pass. He's 9 of 10, and Smith's first incomplete pass was the interception that he threw in the last series, leading to this Eagle drive. Second down 10. And that time a nice tackle is made before he can get out of the backfield. Ray McDonald was able to get an arm on his leg and knock him down after a gain of 1. It'll be third down and 9.
Well, it's always been tough to run against this 49ers defense, and part of the magic of what they do is they really set hard edges. It's like a box. They want to set the edge on the outside and allow those great inside backers to run downhill, to allow Patrick Willis and Takeo Spikes, those guys come attack from the inside out. And when they get that done, they can be very tough to run against.
Third and 9. Pressure. Cobb gets sacked at the 17-yard line. Justin Smith is the first guy in there. So Smith doesn't have any sacks coming into the game. Now he's got a pair.
Yeah, and the protection wasn't awful there at all. But here's the difference. When you play Kevin Kolb as opposed to Mike Vick, you can play coverage. You can drop people out. You can rush 4. If this is Mike Vick in this situation, you have to spy somebody. So you're taking somebody out of coverage, and that's the subtle difference when you're playing defense against Vick or Kolb.
Sav Rocca kicking in the direction of Ted Ginn. From the 32 after a 51-yard boot. Ginn's going to come back the other way. Gets a nice block, and it was legal. And then there's a flag at the end of the play. The first one looked like it was a good block, and the second one was not. And Ginn went all the way across the field and got next to nothing.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 57 of the receiving team.
Yes.
We got 2 of them. Got one here and one there.
Well, that's a guy they just activated. Keaton Christic came up off the practice squad, and he said, hey, they're looking for a guy who's crazy. I'm crazy.
That makes you qualify.
Right.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal block in the back, number 57 of the receiving team. That penalty is declined. During the return, illegal block in the back, number 17 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It'll be first down. Timeout.
At least Christic is able to hand off the penalty to Ziegler.
Johnson going left. He dives. Touchdown, Titans.
And it is good. Game over. Redskins win it in overtime.
Manning takes the snap, back to throw. Zips one into the end zone. Wide open touchdown, Giants.
Highlights from today, plus some buzz from today. Some of the things that happened. First time since 1970, no team in the league has started 4-0. Detroit kills St. Louis. Barry Sanders was playing for Detroit the last time the Lions won a game of that margin. And across the bay, before a sparse turnout, Oakland knocked off San Diego, and the Raiders were able to end a 13-game losing streak against the Chargers.
You think the 72 Dolphins popped the corks on the champagne? It's tradition, right? You know, every time the last team loses, but it didn't even get chilled this year.
October 10th. From the 20-yard line. And the reason that happened is that Kansas City lost today to the Colts. Smith is stepping up and stepping forward, and that is caught by Joshua Morgan. The Eagles are going to try to contend that he didn't make the catch. You saw the ball squirt away, and he's going to say, hey, I held it.
They got #1 pick on #1 pick right out here. Well, can't go.
They've changed the call on this, by the way, on the field without a challenge to incomplete.
All right. Anthony Davis and Brandon Graham, and I would imagine Brandon Graham's a little fired up after getting benched this week. He's had a few different issues with his ankle. And remember, even though his knee was on the ground, when you're going to the ground in the process of the catch, you have to maintain control all the way throughout it. I think the Detroit Lions have that rule memorized now.
There's Graham out of Michigan. 13th overall pick. 2nd and 10. Gore is going to fall down in the backfield. Gore ran right up the legs of the center, David Boss. And that tripped him up, and down he goes, and that'll be a loss of 5. It'll be 3rd and 15.
Well, the 49ers tried to pull everybody from the right side of their line across to the left there, and the Eagles got penetration into the backfield, and it just ended up tripping up the back.
For the 49ers, it's a little deja vu. Last week, they had a great opening drive, and that was their only offensive touchdown. Now, late first half, their only touchdown coming on the game's opening drive, and they turned the ball over twice since then. 3rd and 14. Gore again. Gore up to the 25-yard line.
Well, they're going to get booed here now, but in reality, you've got a quarterback who has already thrown 8 interceptions. You've got this funky-looking amoeba kind of defense looking at you. You don't want to turn it over in your own end. There's nothing wrong. You're right in the ball game. It's 10-7. You're backed up. And that's the right call. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to put him in bad situations to make poor decisions.
Deshaun Jackson is dangerous. Anthony Lee is a very good punter. This is a line drive, and Jackson's going to have a run back with plenty of space from the 25. Picks up a couple of blockers, and because that's such a low kick, he's able to turn it into a 22-yard run back to the 47-yard line. 3:03 left in the half, and the Eagles up by 3. The NFL is introducing the new NFL.com fantasy football mobile app, so you can find out more by going to NFL.com/fantasy. That shot looks like a fantasy. Beautiful. From Marin County, looking back into the city. Transamerica Tower. The pointy top accentuating the skyline. And now from the 47-yard line, this is Cobb. Goes over the middle, and he has been deadly tonight over the middle, and that's Deshaun Jackson springing free and making the catch for a good gain here.
Yeah, and it's a well-thrown ball, no question about it. But this was also an opportunity, I thought, that he could have gotten the ball down the field to Macklin. They've got Taylor Mays back there playing the safety position. And Taylor was creeping up a little bit, and you had some one-on-one coverage here on the outside where that's a throw you can make. You can hit that one over the top. I'm sure the coaches in the booth are thinking, all right, we're just going to bank that one. We'll come right back there. If Taylor's going to sniff around in there, we're going to go over the top.
20-yard gain. Sling it to the outside. It's Jackson again. This time a gain of about 3 yards to the 30-yard line. And Justin Smith put a pop that time on the quarterback. And that's going to take us down to the 2-minute warning, with each team having all 3 of its timeouts. But the Eagles are driving late in the first half and up by 3 over San Francisco. Coming up, the Toyota halftime show. Bob Costas hosting. 4 Saints turnovers, and Arizona wins that game, and a great one in the nation's capital today. The Redskins winning. Peyton and the Colts survive against the formerly unbeaten Chiefs. Bob will talk about the Cowboys now at 1-3. But right now, Philadelphia trying to pad its advantage. And this is McCoy rumbling through the middle and right through that San Francisco defense for a touchdown. I guess the ribs are okay. 29 yards.
Anytime you can get a guard up on the second level and here take out the best player, Patrick Willis, and all it does is set up LaShawn McCoy. Those linebackers have to decide. They see that double team coming at them. Do they run over the top or do they protect the back door? Here you see Harriman, it didn't matter. He just took care of him and knocked him right out of the slot. McCoy took his time and made a great move.
David Akers now for the point after. And that's a 3-play, 53-yard drive. And the Niners struggling offensively this season. They dug a 10-point hole with 1:53 left. If you follow the NFL pretty closely, you know that Andy Reid loves to throw the ball. And there it is. Since he took over as the head coach in '99, 59% of the time he passes and runs only 41%, most pass-oriented among coaches who've been in the league a long time. But 4.4 yards per carry for the rushing offense, second highest under any head coach in the history of the league. Now, year to year, it's normally 4.0, 4.1. So Andy Reid, he's got Brian Westbrook accounts for a lot of that. Charlie Garner, he had Carell Buckhalter for a while. He's moved guys in and out with averages of 4.5. And of course, Donovan McNabb was the icing on the cake because he could run, and obviously very well. Then June downs it in the end zone.
Well, let's go back and take a look at Patrick Willis here, right here. He's going to know in a minute when this block comes, and you'll see him try and flip back out of it. He has that backside gap, the double team there. He's going to try and run over the top. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Now he's going to flip back out of it, but McCoy runs an S on him and goes right back out where he was. It's the hardest thing. You get those double team blocks, and then the linebacker has to make a tough choice. Do I run over the top of it? Do I stay backside? That time Willis a little too aggressive, I think, and got caught on the back door.
And McCoy is on the bike, keeping that lower body and the ribs loose if he can. He got action here with Anthony Davis, one of the two first-round draft choices. Who gets flagged here? False start.
False start, number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
49ers, a great opening drive. Good run back by Ginn, and away they went. 56 yards, 11 plays. But since then, 4 yards per play and 2 turnovers.
Well, and they've had a couple of offside calls here, and now you're looking at 1st and 15, and this offense isn't good enough to overcome those kinds of mistakes.
1st and 15. With the play clock at 1. It slings it off to the side. Good move by Crabtree, who all of a sudden looked like he was going to be out of bounds well short of the first down. Gets by Trevor Lindley, then is able to tightrope the sideline and move the chains 17 yards.
Well, he knows how to work those sidelines. Remember some of his big plays back in college. He beat Texas on a play about like that, too. We told you about how good he was catching the ball, but watch this. There's one miss. There's another miss, and I'll tell you, if you get this kid going, he might really be something. And they really haven't even jump-started Vernon Davis yet either. So the big three, they want to get him going. Gore and Davis and Crabtree.
From the 32-yard line. Screen, Gore. Good blocking, 11-yard gain. 49ers have all of their timeouts. Gallo Rochelle, the right guard, with the block there, and that'll move the chains.
And Al, we have seen Alex Smith this season. Some of his best moments have come in the 2-minute offense when he gets to call the plays.
From the 43. To the outside again. Crabtree. And Crabtree is was able to skirt that sideline again. And maybe part of that, too, Chris, is the fact he's very smart. He's very analytical. And all of a sudden, he just plays in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, and he got to stay alive on that one because Frank Gore, his running back, made a great block. They send a safety blitz. Quentin Michael coming up there. And look at that. That looked like old Brian Westbrook, the way he used to pick up blitzes like that. Saved enough time for Crabtree to come all the way across.
From the 35-yard line.
Vernon Davis, the guy they have not gotten the ball to yet.
Tipped. Incomplete. Tip pass. Nate Allen came in to bat it, the rookie safety.
Well, and it's interesting because Vernon Davis is coming off the ball now. They're blitzing the guy over him 2 times in a row now. And Vernon is wide open. Just turn around and look for the ball. How many times did you see Kurt Warner and the Rams and some of those teams? If the guy over you blitzes, take a look. Your quarterback may just get you the ball quickly. This guy's 250 pounds and runs a 4.35. Get the ball in his hands.
2nd and 10. But again, it's that short stuff here. Clock down to 62 ticks.
Well, it's the same thing, only instead of running him up the field, which is where I would rather run him, they ran him out to the flat. They didn't make a play. But what they've been trying to do all night is run Stuart Bradley underneath him. But I think they can get him the ball going up the field and try and force one of these guys in the secondary to make a play.
For the 49ers upcoming now, a big 3rd down and 7. And at this point, of course, they're probably in field goal range. Nedney's got a strong leg, but with the winds in this stadium, and it's still pretty breezy right now, it's a little tougher.
Yeah, but you're in a relatively safe zone. I think you get a lot more aggressive here. You really got to play for touchdowns right now and try and work this ball down the field.
Oh, I'm with you on that. Get it down to 3 and not 7. 3rd down and 7. From the 32. And that is caught by Ziegler, who comes back inside. There's a marker down. He gets tackled well short of the 1st down, but let's see about the call.
I think they've got a man downfield. Look like Chilo Rochelle.
Ineligible downfield, number 62, offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 3rd down.
Wow, that's a series to forget for him. 2 penalties. Meanwhile, 3 plays ago, Trent Cole pulled up for the Eagles. So they're minus Bunkley. They lost him early. And now you got Cole on the bench, and the defense doing a good job. 3rd down and 12.
And an interesting call there. That would not have been a 1st down. They're trying to drive them out of field goal range here. So we'll see how this plays out. They're going to give the 49ers another down.
Cole going back to the locker room. 3rd down and 12. Look at this. I'll tell you what, they didn't get the play off. He got a flag down at the snap, and the pass is incomplete. And I think that's going to be delay of game because it was thrown by the head linesman as the clock went to 0.
Offside, number 75, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, and it's still 3rd down.
Very interesting. Jaquay Parker, the 49ers got away with one there. The clock was at zip.
Well, this has gone back and forth here a little bit. Right there. Just lined up with his head over the football. And so the 49ers catch a break. So now they're back in field goal range. So all the rules you would think about. Can't take a sack here. Can't do anything foolish with the ball because you do have a shot at a 50-yarder from here, no matter what happens.
3rd and 7. Jaquay Parker. And they're just not taking those shots downfield. Everything's going to the outside.
Well, that's too bad because he really had a shot there. It looked like he had one that was open on the out route. There's Jaquay Parker one more time, going to get his big hand up there. And I tell you, he has earned that job. That's an old pro veteran guy, and about 250, 260 pounds, plays the run as well as he does the pass, and he just outplayed the big #1 draft pick, Brandon Graham.
50 yards for the veteran kicker, Joe Nedney, with a great leg, hooking a little bit, and good. Staying on course. And Joe Nedney, who last kicked one of more than 50 yards in a game against the Eagles 2 years ago here at Candlestick Park, puts them within a touchdown, 17-10. We'll look at the game tonight. Kevin Kolb getting the start, of course, with Michael Vick hurt. And he's looked good. Alex Smith started out hot, but then an interception. There was a Frank Gore fumble. Michael Crabtree was able to get into the end zone for the 49er touchdown, but then McCoy got free on a 29-yard touchdown run and crack rib and all. McCoy 7 carries for 64 yards and 1 reception for 6 yards tonight.
You know, in a big game for the Philadelphia Eagles, trying to hold serve because the Giants and Redskins both won today, and Giants, to me, looked really impressive coming down, and we've seen their defense improve greatly over the last couple of weeks. Perry Fuel and the job that he's done with that Giants defense, they were just awful at the end of last year, and now they're winning games with them.
And the way they played against Indianapolis, and then the following week as well, before they took on Chicago last week, they have come out of the crypt, like a lot of teams in this league. You go in the crypt and you come out of the crypt. Ellis Hobbs from the 3-yard line. Hobbs with your Philadelphia decent field position as Bowman making the tackle, but he's able to get it all the way up to the 37. The rookie out of Penn State, Navarro Bowman. So 36 seconds, and the Eagles have all of their timeouts.
Now let's go back to that ball that got tipped, and I thought I saw somebody running wide open, watching Vernon Davis here on the outside. He runs a nice route and is just standing there all by himself for a big first down, and Jaquay Parker gets the paw up and saves the day.
From the 37, here's Kolb. Fake toss. Puts that into the ground. Nobody is open through toward the line of scrimmage. Second down. So for Kevin Kolb, talking about him before, feeling that, you know, laughing about the fact, hey, I was expecting to start in week 5 on Miami. He also told us last night, he said, I've only started 3 games in my career, but I feel like I've been through an entire career.
He has. And he's right up front with it, too. He says, hey, I'm competing with Mike Vick. I may not be able to do some of the things that he can do, but we're in a competition. We're friends, but we're competing.
2nd and 10. At the 44-yard line by Brent Selleck, stopping the clock with 25 seconds.
We have seen Kevin Kolb work his way out of the pocket. The 49ers came with both inside linebackers on a blitz that time, and he very casually sort of went out. You know, the one interesting thing about this offense is they've had to flip from left formations to right formations a lot this year. Both of the Eagles' losses have come when the quarterback, the starting quarterback, has gotten hurt early in the game, and it completely changes the style of game plan because of left-hander and the right-hander.
Against Green Bay, and then last week against Washington. And Kolb's going to go down, and he loses the ball, but he's able to reach out, and I think for the moment, was he down is the question. The 49ers with Manny Lawson getting it, and Manny Lawson's going to come up with the football. Manny Lawson, number 99. It looked like Kolb was reaching out, may have brought it in, but Lawson kept going and going, and the 49ers get the turnover.
And King Dunlop continues to have a rough night. Manny Lawson, again, the bull rush, going to go right back into him, get that ball knocked out of there, and he's not satisfied. He's going to keep the fight alive. Ball bounces around, and now the 49ers with a huge break. They really needed it.
Well, they can also, if the booth wanted to review this, if Kolb is down, does he have the ball there is the question. But no, it is Harrelson who comes up with the ball. And at the 40, at the 35 now. The 49ers with 15 seconds. And Smith trying to get him closer, and he does, and then dragged down is Michael Crabtree at the 22-yard line. And now you've got 10 seconds. So right now you're looking at about a 40-yard field goal.
You know, I think with the new approach, with Mike Johnson in here calling the plays, I think they take a shot at the end zone here. Michael Crabtree and Vernon Davis can go as high as anybody in football. Give them a shot.
Good, because then he's already well within range. Give it a shot to try to tie the game. And Smith's going to throw it to the end zone and incomplete. And Davis was covered well inside and out. Joselio Hansen, the primary coverage on the play, and now you're down to 6 seconds, and they'll bring in the field goal group.
Well, Vernon Davis is the one right in the center. They're trying to run a little alley-oop to him, but he could just never get position on Joselio Hansen. Got close, but I think that was the wrong ball for that situation. You've got two vertical guys, two leapers, and the ball was thrown below the waist.
Medley now from 40. Lee puts it down. He misses this one. So he makes one from 50, misses from 40. You still have 2 seconds left, and Philadelphia has 1 play left. Was it Nedney or was it the hold?
Good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
Good enough. Just hooked it. You know, the kickers, I used to do a little holding too, and they want it a certain way, but that was definitely good enough.
And under a crescent moon, 1 more play barring a defensive foul, and it will simply be a kneel down for Kolb, who winds up 12 of 14 for 123. Smith 11 of 16 for 139. And we go to the half of the score. Philadelphia 17 and San Francisco 10. Bob hosting the Toyota halftime show, and we come back after these messages from your local NBC station.
It's what's played for Sunday Night Football. All eyes on us tonight.
And that pass is caught in the end zone. Michael Crabtree for the touchdown.
Watch these hands. Sticky.
Kolb under pressure, escapes, then throws and turns it into a touchdown. And this is McCoy rumbling through the middle for a touchdown. And now the second half at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Andrea Kramer. Good first half for Kolb. 12 out of 14. Mike Singletary's team still looking for that elusive first victory of the year. Got a field goal toward the end of the half, but then missed a 40-yarder. So it's a 7-point game. Philly will get the ball. Joe Nedney sends it to the north end zone. Ellis Hobbs. Flag is down at the 19-yard line. The penalty is all the way back at the 30-yard line of the 49ers, meaning that somebody came across the line. And Walt Anderson.
They only made it out to the 18, so they may choose to re-kick that one.
Offside, number 23, kicking team. 5-yard penalty, will re-kick.
Yeah.
Yep, might as well. That gives us a chance to go to Andrea.
Well, I talked to Andy Reid walking off the field at halftime about the 3 sacks of Kevin Kolb. He said it's not just the fault of King Dunlap, the replacement for Jason Peters, it's the entire offensive line. He also said Kolb is holding the ball too long and must get it out quicker. As for Mike Singletary, 3 things he said about his defense. They have to slow, their pass rush is being slowed down too much. They have to blitz more selectively, and they also have to get their hands on the Eagles receivers.
Well, that's the report from the guys, and there's Singletary, who as we mentioned at the top of the telecast, I mean, there's a great contrast between the styles of these two coaches. Mike, fiery and emotional, and Andy is just the same. I mean, have you ever seen Andy Reid explode?
No. And you know what? You have to be. If you're going to be the coach in New York or Philadelphia with the media there, you can't fight it. You just go in there and answer the questions and know you're going to take it like you did last week and go about your business, do the best you can. But he does win things.
And he's done it for 12 years. Here's Ellis Hobbs. And he gets taken down at the 20-yard line. Dominique Ziegler came in and submarined it.
Curtis Taylor laid a big shot down there as well. These special teams guys, they're trying to get their first win. Curtis Taylor probably their big hitter out there on special teams. Pretty impressive, though, first half for Kevin Kolb. You know, all the pressure, trying to compete with Mike Vick, and Mike Vick playing nearly flawlessly so far this season. Tall order, but he's done pretty well.
That augurs well. 20 games they've won in a row when leading at the half, and they begin with LaShawn McCoy, who didn't practice that much this week, missed a couple of days, and they let Bell handle most of the reps, but with that cracked rib and all, 8 carries tonight, 68 yards, a touchdown, and a long of 29, which was the touchdown.
Well, anytime you see a linebacker make a clean hit, it's usually because the nose tackle ate up a bunch of blocks. You got the fullback, you got the center, and there's Patrick Willis to look like a Hall of Famer.
On 2nd and 5. Kolb stepping up to avoid the pressure. Then going deep, and adjusting and making the catch is Jeremy Maclin. Jeremy Maclin getting downfield. He turns Shawntae Spencer, who's been playing very well for the 49ers for the first part of the season, turned him around, came back, made the grab. 42 yards.
Safety blitz coming off the edge here, and good job by Kevin Kolb to not panic. He saw it. He knew it was picked up. Step up. You've got the single coverage. Take your shot down the field. There you go. For everybody who wants to see if he can get it down the field. Little delayed route on the outside. That time took advantage of Shawntae Spencer.
Back to the ground on first down with a minute and a half. That's Bell. Gain of 2.
Well, so far in the first half, it was really kind of one of those games where you didn't really get the ball down the field very much, but his wide receivers have been stepping up here lately. And let's face it, that's the difference on this team. You know, you get Jeremy Maclin, but in particular Deshaun Jackson, one of the great big play threats in the game. You have to give him a chance. Here comes the All-State special.
2nd and 9. Going deep, too deep. Coverage was good that time. Intended for Maclin, and Nate Clements was there for the coverage, and that'll set up a 3rd down and 9.
I think the double All-State special is when they bring both inside linebackers. Going to bring them both right here. He knew he'd have single coverage on the outside, and when you have the receivers this team has, you just take your shots. Just throw it up there, and just like on the last play when Maclin made it, see what happens. Pretty good job by Nate Clemens cutting off his path to the outside. He threw off the timing on that throw.
They're good, they're fast, and they're young. They're going to be around a while, too. 3rd down and 9. Rifled over the middle, and that is incomplete. Willis, step for step, going back there with Selleck. Good coverage, 4th down.
I tell you, when you have an athlete like Patrick Willis that can run with a tight end right down the field, just watch him here. Big hits. We saw the hit just a minute ago. Little contact there. But he just felt when the ball was coming. As soon as the receiver, Selleck, sticks his hands out, you rake down across the arms and knock it out.
The Eagles think that should have been pass interference because he turned around and looked for the ball. So now Rocket to punt. Try to pooch it or angle it. It's difficult to do in the swirling wind. And this goes almost straight up in the air. It'll be fair caught at the 18-yard line by Ted Ginn Jr. So 12:33 to go. 3rd quarter. 49ers have the ball trailing by 7. Alex Smith underneath, he's been really good, but when he goes deep, 0 for 2 with a pick.
Yeah, but I'll say this about him. He has anticipated his throws tonight. You don't throw it when you see the guy break. You throw it before that. And that's the reason he's able to get some of these throws in. Nice step up here, but you see the window well inside. Throw it early. On-time throw, and the touchdown was the same way. A little shake to the outside, back inside by Crabtree. He anticipated. He looks the confidence of Alex Smith tonight feels a little different to me. You know, he threw a pick, but it was no big deal, and he came back and he's been playing the game.
Now we'll see if he can get a W at the end of the night. Rolling against the grain, and the pass is incomplete. He was hit there by Tap, and let's check in with Andrea.
Yeah, an update from the Eagles sideline. Defensive end Trent Cole is questionable with a hamstring. Defensive tackle Broderick Bunkley officially ruled out with an elbow, and Jason Peters is out with a knee, but they said he could come back in an emergency situation.
All right, well, I'm not sure we're going to see him. We haven't seen him since early on, but this emergency might mean you're down to your last 5 offensive linemen. Second down and 10.
False start, number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Anthony Davis.
All night. He's just been doing that all night, and that was a long audible, and it was, you know, one of those that you got to sit in there and hang in there for a while. But this is at least the 3rd time I can remember with an offsides or an illegal move that now the 49ers are in one of those second down and 15 positions, and this is not where they want Alex Smith to be.
He has Westbrook alongside him in the backfield. He will go. So with all of the injuries up front, with Cole out and Bunkley out, still no problem. Antonio Dixon, the second-year man from Miami, sacks him at the 5-yard line.
Well, the replacement for Trent Cole is Darryl Tapp, and his outside pressure forced him to step up. You're going to see going out around. And then it's Antonio Dixon with a nice spin move there on Yapati and ran right into Alex Smith. But again, when you're in those long yardage situations, now you face the Eagles and you don't know what you're going to get defensively. They are a team that throws everything at you, and the minute you get backed up, you're almost dead.
3rd and 21. And that is caught for a big first down as Vernon Davis gets about 25 yards downfield on a 3rd and 21. Big play.
Great job by Alex Smith. Saw the blitz coming from his left, rolled to the right, and they hit the play that they didn't hit earlier on the interception. Remember, they threw it deep on this play. This time they do come back to Vernon Davis, get the ball in his hands, and convert a huge 3rd down.
Up now to the 38-yard line. Double tight end set this time. Running game again. Gore breaks free, and Frank Gore into Philadelphia territory. Got in behind the Nate Byam block. He's the other tight end. The double tight end set we just alluded to, and it's a 17-yard gain.
Well, this time a good job by Anthony Davis. This is what they've been doing to the Eagles lately. Sealing down, kicking out with the fullback, and Stuart Bradley could not get there. He's coming off of knee surgery, just a step late getting there, and Frank Gore was gone.
Davis will turn 21 at midnight. A couple of yards to Gore, and was the play whistle dead? Every Eagle thinks they have it. Was the play whistle dead? Quentin Michael comes up with the football. Gore has already fumbled once tonight.
That ball was out.
The ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
Whoa, boy.
Yeah, I think Ernie Sims knocked it out, and because it happened in such a strange way and you almost didn't see it. The officials almost missed it. Out.
Another big 49er giveaway.
Well, this is just Kevin Kolb. He's no Mike Vick, but he does have the ability to get out and around.
This is Sunday night.
And now we'll see Kolb again after the 49ers convert a very big third down play on a pass to Vernon Davis, and then a couple of plays later that scores 4th fumble of the year and 2nd tonight, and the pass underneath McCoy. Chris, one of these things that you hear and you go, that's impossible. The last time the 49ers converted on a 3rd and 21 or more on a pass play, 1997.
I thought you were going to say against us in the Super Bowl.
It seems that way.
They converted everything in that game.
But that's Steve Young 13 years ago. But that went to waste after the turnover, 2nd down and 4. And this is McCoy, and a big run is saved right there by Manny Lawson, knocking him down just after the line of scrimmage.
That's a good save that time by Manny Lawson. That thing looked like it was going out the back door again. I think that's Manny right on the end line of scrimmage. And he's going to peel back, and this thing really looked like it opened up. There was nobody back there. Maybe a touchdown saving tackle. Manny Lawson's had a nice game out of it.
9.5 left in the quarter. 3rd and 2. Crowd imploring its defense to make a big stop here. But they won't, because over the middle and making the catch, and that'll be a 1st down. He gets the ball to Chad Hall, just elevated off the practice squad, went to the Air Force Academy, was fixing F-16s not long ago.
Yeah, he just fixed that 3rd down right there. And for Kevin Kolb, he was going to go to his Air Force guy all the way. I saw Chad Hall on the field before the game, and you could tell he was jacked up, finally getting a chance because of the injury to Riley Cooper, and that's a big conversion right there.
Just 5'8", 187 is all. Big 3rd down play. Now this is Mike Bell over right guard. About 3.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles start thinking about running some bootlegs. That's 2 times now. The backside outside linebacker, that time Travis LeBoy came down and made the hit. So if you've got a bootleg call, it might be coming here soon because of the way those outside linebackers are crashing.
And from Colgate, Greg Manusky right there, the defensive coordinator. McCoy comes back in the 2nd and 7. Here's LaShawn. And he's very close to a 1st down. It'll be about a yard shy. Got it behind the center, McGlynn. And it's going to set up a 3rd down and 1.
Well, Mike McGlynn is not who they had in mind. They were hoping for Jamal Jackson to play center, but he got the job done here against Brea Franklin on the inside. You just take that nose tackle wherever he wants to go and let a young star like LaShawn McCoy make that cut.
3rd and 1. They come up with a wildcat right now. And that's Eldra Buckley who takes the snap and saves the snap. And that play doesn't work. That's a big break for the 49ers who try to extract the football, but the official is right there to say no. So they try to trick them. They run a wildcat play with Eldra Buckley, the 2nd year back in Tennessee, Chattanooga, and it doesn't work.
Well, we praise Mike McGlynn, and that time we've got to tell the truth. That was a terrible snap. Came out sideways, and Buckley did all he could just to save it. So any sort of fake to Deshaun Jackson, or maybe he was supposed to hand it to him, who knows? All that was gone after the snap.
Well, at least the Eagles will line up to go for it. Let's see if they do or not. 4th down and 1 from the 30-yard line. And going back is Kolb, and he throws, and that pass is juggled and not caught. It looked like Selleck was going to come down with it the 2nd time, but he can't. All he can do is hold his head. And the 49ers get it back on downs. Big stop. 6:43 left in the 3rd. A 7-point game with the Eagles on top.
I'm Al Michaels.
And I'm Chris Collinsworth. This is Sunday Night Football.
Al and Chris are the best on TV. and it's touchdown time on NBC.
Gotta love that new theme song.
Yep, nothing says football like a woman singing on a field. Oh, I guess we're going back.
There will be touchdowns, that's a guarantee, because the game already started and it's 14-3.
Did she say the game already started?
What the hell?
And that was last night on Saturday Night Live when we were sawing logs.
I don't know why Bill Hader maybe know that.
First and Smith throws, and that's dropped. So there's any truth to the internet report that you've already filed suit? That was
Believe me, I've had a lot worse than that. It was funny. That's a funny bit.
Jane Lynch from Glee playing the role of Faith Hill. Jason Sudeikis is
he took it easy on you, though.
Yeah, you know, I've been around a long time, right? You know, since that's a son of a check last week.
I'm the punchline forever and a day around here.
Yeah, well, you know, they've got the whole twang going and the whole thing, right?
And well, yeah, I guess they do.
Meanwhile, I'm walking around thinking of that song the way she's singing in my head all day long. 2nd down and 10 at the 30-yard line. Again, right through the middle. And Gore next to nothing. Trent Cole is back in the game, and he was in on that play right there.
Yeah, they really caught him with a late move. They took the entire defensive line and slid them to the left. And I think it just caught the 49ers offensive line, young offensive line, a little off guard. Watch them all just jump. And then the handoff goes right up there, and they've got a defender for every blocker and left nobody on Stewart Brabham.
3rd and 8. Now they split Gore wide left. 4 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Stepping up, and Smith can't get out of the grasp of Darryl Tapp. Saw an opening. Try to get to the first down marker and can't. In comes the punting group.
But again, Al, when you end up in those 3rd down and 8s and 9s, now they take defensive ends and move them to defensive tackles. There aren't many defensive tackles that would have made that play. Slower guys, but when you're in those long yardage situations, you get better athletes on the field to rush the passer.
Andy Lee now. Jackson is back. Have another run back opportunity. From the 15, trying to get around the corner, and he can. And that is great coverage right there. The 49ers, Anthony Dixon, saving what might have been a big run back. There's that song again.
Get it off.
And some guacamole and some melted cheese.
This Wednesday, all new episode of Law and Order Los Angeles, following Law and Order SVU. That's Wednesday night, right here on the National Broadcasting Company, City Hall, San Francisco. And back we come to Candlestick Park, southeastern corner of this fabulous city at the 16-yard line. The drive begins here with Sean McCoy. Andy Reid, been with the Eagles since '99 and finally had to part ways with McNabb. But we talked about the inflappability of Andy, and you know, it's over and over and over. Every year the Eagles have been competitive outside of a couple, knows how to remake the team. This is a team that doesn't have anybody left from the '04 Super Bowl team apart from special teams guys, and yet they really don't you know, just have a rebuilding year. They retool and they rebuild on the fly, and that means that the team is still competitive as he's doing it. Swing it out to McCoy, and McCoy is able to get by the DB and pick up a first down. And Andy, you know, look, at a certain point, it's time. Sheldon Brown, the defensive back. Chris Gokong, the linebacker. Darren Howard, the defensive lineman. Jeremiah Trotter had been let go years ago and then brought back. And, of course, McNabb and Westbrook will headline that list. But you got to do it from time to time. It's time to remake. It's time to do it on the fly. And the Eagles have been very good at that.
Well, he didn't want to go back to his job as a limo driver.
No, he didn't. McCoy gets taken down. We were talking to Andy yesterday. Graduated from BYU, went to work at San Francisco State as an assistant coach. Wasn't making anything. So to make ends meet, he got a job as a limo driver with a friend. He said, "Did you ever drive anybody famous?" He said, "Rock Hudson."
Yeah.
I said, "Who else?" Lonnie Anderson.
Yep.
He also told us a couple of other stories about his days in San Francisco, but those will have to wait for Andy's book. Second down and 10. He's a baseball umpire as well for a local league. And look out as Kolb is going to get sacked from behind. Travis LeBoy around the edge. And the 6th-year man from Hawaii, the much-traveled one, comes around and gets the big sack.
Well, Andy Reid says it's not all King Dunlop's fault, but this is 3 different guys now that have sacks and basically the same move. King Dunlop, a very high-waisted guy, as they say, is having trouble bending his knees. Guys are going low and wearing out the quarterback. At some point, you have to start helping him over there because he can't get it done.
3rd and 18. Deshaun Jackson has been on the sideline for this series. They're working on him. And now Kolb will take off. And Kolb is going to get the first down up to the 47-yard line. And if ever Kolb could do a Michael Vick imitation, that's it.
Yeah, and he got some help from his back that time. King Dunlop on the outside. But watch these moves by Kevin Kolb. He's been doing this all night. You know, and there's the one thing you noticed watching the tape was that, okay, nobody's Mike Vick, and he certainly is not either. But he's a decent athlete. He can get out and make people miss, and there it is. Navarro Bowman was just left shuffling.
And there's an injury timeout here after a big 18-yard gain, and there's Jackson on the bench. First down. Sunday Night Football brought to you by new Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Turn shaving into gliding and skeptics into believers. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. By Toyota and the Tiny Football League, add your Pee Wee team. And by SAP, the best run better with SAP. That is that fabled high school across the bay, De La Salle High School. Once had a 151-game winning streak. Their action on Friday night. Now as we come back here, it's LaShawn McCoy after Brent Selleck took a shot on the last play, and that was the reason for the injury timeout, and he's back on the bench.
Yeah, friendly fire got him here. Watch Winston Justice, number 74, going to come back, miss the guy, and rock Selleck. It took Selleck a minute to figure out where that came from.
So to check with him, meanwhile, Garrett Mills is the backup tight end. He lines up on the right side of the line on 2nd down and 5 from the 47-yard line. And speeding his way is LaShawn McCoy. Selleck's getting concussion tests on the sideline.
Running up and down the sidelines, and they're saying, there you go, back and forth. Looks a lot like another kind of test, doesn't it?
Well, everybody's very sensitive to making sure that the test is done properly these days. Selleck's going to come back into the game, and the chain gang is going to come in to see. Meanwhile, that's Jackson. No word from the Eagles yet as to what caused this.
And we saw him run on the play that he left the game on and really couldn't pick up anything that looked like an injury. I'll let you judge for yourself. Right there. Just runs a little out route. I thought maybe he was upset he didn't get the ball. Hops a little.
And that was his last play, and there he is still on the Philadelphia bench as the Eagles have picked up a first down. Macklin and Avant are the 2 wideouts in this set. And Cobb buys time and then tries to get it to Selleck, and he's covered on the play by Patrick Willis.
And it severely changes the dynamics now for this San Francisco defense. You take Deshaun Jackson out of the game. Now you go help a little on Jeremy Maclin, but you're really not so worried about Jason Avant getting by you. And remember, Riley Cooper has missed this game because of a concussion, one of the other receivers, and you've got Chad Hall out there with very little experience.
The Eagles have done a nice job running the ball tonight.
Ball start, number 79, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Todd Hermans.
That wasn't one of those little false starts either, was it? Charging out of the gate, but once again, that left side continues to be the issue. A lot of people thought that Max Gene Gillis and Mike McGlynn were going to be the issue tonight against the 49ers, but it has been much more on the left because of the injury to Jason Peters and some of the penalties.
2nd and 15. Short drop, batted ball at the line of scrimmage. That's Willis. So he goes into coverage, rushes, does everything.
Now this is the reason teams love to do this blitz. Just shoot them right in there. And even if you don't get there, get your hands up. The West Coast offense, you know the ball's coming out quickly. One of the great players in the game right now, no doubt about it, Patrick Willis. There may be another couple linebackers in the conversation, but not many.
3 years in the league and 3 Pro Bowls. 3rd and 15. 4-man rush. Buying time. Cobb stepping to his left. Throws. Goes to the fullback for a nice gain, but shy of the first down. Owen Schmidt tackled by Navarro Bowman. So it was a 3rd and 15. They get 13 yards. It's now 4th and 2.
Well, he was looking everywhere he could look. We've seen his eyes all night long. He probably checked 4 or 5 receivers on this one, and that was all the 49ers were going to give him. So once again, the Eagles turn away from about a 54-yard field goal or so.
Right, which is a pretty wise thing to do in the wind shear that is Candlestick Park, because you give the 49ers the ball back at their own 44-yard line. So Sav Rocca comes in to punt. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter. So he waited for the quarter to end.
And I wonder if they will kick the other way.
End of 3. 17-10 Philadelphia. Sunday Night Football back after these messages. Now that the teams have changed sides, Philadelphia is going to send Akers in to attempt a 53 or 54-yard field goal. Now, if the wind goes one way or another, it goes more right to left than left to right. But this place is wind shear and has been for years. Baseball, football, you name it. So it's dicey. We'll see if he can pull it off. Otherwise, the 49ers are going to get the ball near midfield. A 53-yard attempt as Rocca puts it down, and that kick is no good. So they were going to punt, or at least we're going to line up the punt going the other way. They let the clock run down. You can get duped by what you think the wind does here. And the ball, of course, goes back to the spot right now, which gives the 49ers in a 1-possession game the ball near midfield.
You know, it's always the toughest of calls because you hate to pass up a chance to get points, but the way your defense have been playing tonight, a punt down to about the 7 or 8 yard line would have felt pretty good right there. I kind of thought they might end up just snapping it right to David Akers and let him sort of dribble one down the field. But they go for the field goal, and now they're put the 49ers in a great spot.
Longest field goal ever here, 54 yards done 3 times. So there he was trying a 53-yarder. The ball is now at the 44-yard line. And Smith buys time with the play fake, guns it over the middle, wide open at the Philadelphia 42 to make the Panthers Joshua Morgan for a first down. Third-year man out of Virginia Tech, Morgan. 6th round pick in 08.
Good choice. I can't argue with this. But he did have, I think it was Ted Ginn going down the field behind everybody. Maybe they come back again to that.
Instead, they go to the workhorse Gore, and he plugs forward for 5 yards to the 35-yard line.
There's a saying when you play wide receiver, if I'm even, I'm leaving. And that really holds true for Ted Ginn, who's one of the fastest guys in the league. You saw the safety bite up. And that's if you're Ted Ginn, you don't jump up and down and complain or do anything. You just go back and you go, hang on. Next one, throw it right over the top.
2nd down and 5.
Football, and it's picked up, and it's another turnover, and Quentin Michael is going to run all the way to the end zone for a touchdown. The rookie Brandon Graham flushed him, got him to lose the football, and the Eagles with a gigantic play.
Oh, and that's a terrible play by Alex Smith. He had Vernon Davis on the blitz read. All you got to do is take it. He saw it. He took the ball back to make the throw, and he just didn't take it. Blitz coming off the right side. There it is. Vernon Davis, take it right there. You just throw it to his outside shoulder, no problem. Instead, you let the blitz get you, and the game is completely turned. Oh, boy. The play, he has tried so hard to avoid those kinds of mistakes, and he can't stay away from them.
David Akers to the point after. So the Niners get a big break after the missed Akers field goal and then turn it right back. Cough it up and put Philadelphia on top 24-10. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Warner Brothers Pictures. Hereafter in theaters everywhere October the 22nd. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 50% on car insurance. By Windows 7 and by the new Coors Light Silver Bullet aluminum pint. Lombard Street. I don't think you can save 50% on car insurance on that street. Windiest street in the world. Fabled San Francisco site. 4 turnovers for the 49ers tonight. 3 fumbles and an interception. And now it's a 14-point game as the kick is fielded by Ted Ginn. And Ginn, another good run back. Sort of bright spot for the Niners when they're getting him back from the knee injury in week 1. Takes it to the 40. Back to the touchdown.
Zone blitz 101 right here. You're going to have Stuart Bradley right here try and get underneath this thing as all the pressure comes from the right side. He can't get there. You just have to pull the trigger. You know you've been practicing that play all week long. Even if you throw it in the dirt, you cannot escape an overload blitz to that side. You just can't do it. And Mike Singletary is telling him how many times we have to practice that.
Well, the 40-yard line, I thought I heard the crowd chanting, "We want Carr," who is the backup quarterback, and that's David Carr. Another guy who was at one point picked number 1 overall in the draft. And Smith gets hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. And I have the full fury of the crowd coming down right now. And again, this is a Regal franchise at one point. Haven't had a winning year since 02. And all the frustration right now is just bubbled over.
And it's all out there now. I mean, and Mike Singletary is going to hear it. And Alex Smith in this division, as poor as it is, may be slipping away. Arizona with the big win today over the world champs. And 0-5, people start discussing things they weren't discussing necessarily before.
2nd down and 10 at the 40-yard line. And Gore doesn't even look around. And it's just it's a boo fest right now.
We've seen it before. Young quarterbacks. And when they reach a breaking point, and so often there's David Carr, the backup, of course, also a former #1 overall pick. Hasn't worked out so well for him either. And Alex Smith, you just wonder how much longer they're going to allow him to go. That mistake was all on him.
3rd and 10 from the 40-yard line. And he fires this one incomplete. Narrow tap. Did a tap dance on him. Next chant you're liable to hear here is "We Want Eddie."
As in
DeBartolo.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Carr's warming up. They're going to get Carr. Here's Andy Lee's kick, which is a beauty, but it's too good, actually. It bounces into the end zone. The Philly gets into the 20 with 12:53 left before very restless Nathan. 24-10. And this is McCoy rumbling through the middle and right through that San Francisco defense for a touchdown.
This is Sunday night.
And back we come as you've got Smith getting a talking to from Singletary. You've got Carr warming up. You have a 14-point game. And you have McCoy taking the ball to the 23. And Deshaun Jackson, who we saw with that knee injury going back to the locker room, is now back and in the lineup.
Well, and that's a good thing because he was hurt apparently on the punt return. And I'm sure that's going to raise additional questions in the Philadelphia media about whether or not Deshaun Jackson, as good as he is, and certainly one of the best, voted to the Pro Bowl as a returner last year, but you take your most dynamic player and get him hurt on special teams, sometimes you wonder, is it worth it?
2nd and 7. Cutting it back, McCoy to the 26-yard line, and McCoy tonight has chugged along, and he's approaching 100 yards on the evening. There it is, 16 for 96 for a guy with a cracked rib.
Yeah, pretty gutsy performance out here tonight, and probably the biggest change, although he did it that time, is he quit making runs like that last one, those east and west runs, and has been running north and south, and Mike Singletary giving his troops a little north and south right now.
Well, at what point do you tune out is the question. There's been a lot of north and south. 3rd and 5. Cobb knocked down. And the crowd sort of gleeful about that, but I think more gleeful in that Carr is going to come into the game. So, I mean, the other quarterback is always the most popular guy. Not always. I mean, if it's Elway or Peyton Manning, he's not, but in this case, he certainly is.
Yeah, and I think you raise a legitimate question. At what point do you tune him out? At what point do you say, you know, okay, Alex understands now he completely screwed up. He's going to the bench. You know, what else could you do to him other than bench him?
Here's Rocca. It looked like a fair catch was called for. There is no flag here. The ball bounces and bounds out of bounds. And the 49ers will come up with the football, I believe, at the 31-yard line, and the crowd will get
you got to let him have
right
a chance to.
There is no touching by the receiving team. The receiving team player was blocked into the football. 1st down.
Okay.
Timeout.
11-10 remaining, and we'll see who's coming in here. It looked for all the world like you were going to see David Carr. Then as we went to commercial, you saw that shot of Smith coming back out. Then he came back over to talk to Singletary, but he is going to stay in. I think partially because there's Carr on the bench, and the crowd hates this. But the 49ers are still in the game, and after the quick turnaround, you got to go, as Singletary says, with the guy you brought to the dance. Maybe not. Flag down. After the catch was made, it was Gore, so Smith bought time, completes the pass, and a marker gets thrown at about the 45-yard line.
Yeah, you see no hat.
Yep.
On the head, and so we know what this is.
Out of bounds.
Frank Gore went out of bounds.
Right.
On his own, I should say, as well. He wasn't forced out and then caught the ball. And it's unfortunate because standing right behind him was another receiver.
Illegal touching, number 21 offense, went out of bounds and was the first player to touch the pass. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And you really, it's kind of hard to understand why this happens, but there's Gore right there stepping out. Now he cannot be the first to touch. And there's Josh Morgan right behind him. If Frank Gore just let it go, he would have the completion anyway, and that's all Alex Smith needed, was help like that.
First and 15 now. Under 11 to play in a two-possession game. Smith drops it into the arms of Gore, who has been shadowing him pretty well tonight. And here was, during the break, Singletary and Smith on the sideline.
Basically, it's 20-14. You're the quarterback, and I tell you what I would do if I were the quarterback. And you're talking about a pressure drive for a young man. This may be his last.
Well, I didn't see if he said 20-14, but the score is 24-10. Which is a little different than 20-14. Second and 10, and the catch is made on a slant by Dominique Ziegler. And he has a first down, tackled at the 42-yard line by Quentin Michael, who earlier in the quarter scored the first touchdown of his 8-year career.
Well, there you go. That's what he should have done on the other play. Same blitz coming off of this side. Instead now of running out of the pocket, he stands in, throws it right where the blitzer came from, pick up the first down. Beautifully done.
From the 43. Great catch, great throw to the 15-yard line.
Well, there it is. Finally happened. They have been trying so hard to get the ball to Vernon Davis. It's a mismatch against Stuart Bradley. Bradley can't run with this guy. There's no way. And that has been the play that Vernon Davis has not been making this season that he made all of last year when he caught 13 touchdown passes. Teams have taken that throw away, but the Eagles have not.
Rule him down to the 21-yard line. Gain of 36 and a first down. Blitz. Pressure comes. Gets the pass away for a 9-yard gain, caught by Ginn at the 12-yard line. Tackled there by Dimitri Patterson.
Same blitz again, and I don't blame him. That's the same thing I'd be doing, making sure Alex Smith could figure it out because he blew it the last time. Again, blitz coming here, throw it where they come from, complete it. Perfect.
Second and 1. Ticking down to 8 minutes to go in the fourth. To Gore on the inside, and that will be a first down, setting them a first and goal at the 7-yard line. And the good news for Smith is he has been very proficient in the red zone this season.
He's down in where he's pretty good down here. I'll tell you, it's not been Frank Gore's best night tonight, though, has it? A couple of fumbles on the night, step out of bounds on that other play. You know, you have a young quarterback, you got to have your star running back give his best.
First and goal. Over the middle. Davis. Touchdown. Beautiful. Well, you got to hand it to Alex Smith. I mean, they are just killing him. Killing him. He looks like he's going to come out of the game. He gets back into the game, and that's why they drafted him number 1. For moments like that, there just haven't been enough of them.
Guts of a sailor right here. Watch this throw. In the double coverage, does have his back turned to him, Ernie Sims does, and he threw it right by his ear hole. Exactly as you would want to have done. That is a perfectly thrown ball and a confident throw, not one for a guy about to get benched.
Nedney for the point after. Flag down. Boy, I've seen some thick-skinned stuff in sports, and you have too, Chris, through the years. That was pretty good right there.
Well, you know, if you play for Mike Singletary, you get used to it.
Illegal formation, number 58 of the defense, lined up over the center. That 5-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. The try is good. Timeout.
That was not just Mike Singletary. That was 58,000 people screaming at you like Mike Singletary. He goes back into the game and gets them back into the game. 24-17. Jay Leno this week. Heidi Klum will be there. Harrison Ford, Wanda Sykes, and Tony Parker's wife, Eva Longoria. Now that it's almost basketball season. Jay Leno, Tonight Show. Right here on NBC, where the game is now a very interesting game at the moment. As Jorah Calvin takes it 1 yard in the end zone, and Calvin gives him a nice run back out to the 37. A rookie from Troy. Go back to the touchdown pass, and then you see Smith coming off the field.
This is one of those that you make when you've completed about 10 in a row, not when you're on the borderline of getting benched. And Michael Singletary says, thank you. That's all I wanted. How hard was that?
You're welcome.
Now it's showtime. Now the pressure back on Kevin Kolb to answer with a drive.
Ball at the 36-yard line, first down. Kolb flings it over the middle and right between the hash marks to Macklin. He's been very proficient going right over the middle tonight. 22 yards.
Yeah, that was a nice catch there by Macklin. Got his hands underneath that one. Right there's Jeremy Macklin right in the middle of this thing. And they motioned to an empty backfield. They took LaShawn McCoy and flanked him out and really spread the defense on that one as they were in base personnel and sort of opened up that middle. I was kind of wondering when they might start picking on Taylor Mays. Taylor Mays, a very good player, but just in his second start with the 49ers, I think I might look that way a little more.
From the 42, after the pump fake, here's McCoy, and Willis will wrap him up from behind, and the ball is on the ground, and very alertly coming in to cover it up is the guard Harrimans.
Boy, Todd Harriman has had a couple of rough moments, but here he was on the screen, and believe me, that was a pure hustle play because Harriman was late coming out of there. He really did not have a screen assignment on there, and you could see the ball out, no question about it.
Clearly a fumble.
And you'll see Harriman, though, come all the way across. I mean, this was just purely a hustle. He wasn't out on the screen, but as the play went that way, he decided he was going to take a few steps that way, just pure reaction, and it saved the day.
Saved the day, might have gotten him a first down, though it appeared to be a little bit short here, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and inches. Maybe not short. Is Andy going first down?
Well, he used to be an umpire. You know, he knows how to make those calls. Watch Harriman right here. He's just got a blocking assignment on this one. Brea Franklin. Look, he's very late getting over there. A lot of guys wouldn't even have hustled that far over. And because he did, he was able to save it.
4 red shirts and 1 white shirt in the area. And he keeps the ball on a big, big play at the 32-yard line. Chew up some clock now as well. They're looking ahead. Each team has all of its timeouts. 1st and 10 under 6 minutes. And McCoy will get taken down in the backfield. Justin Smith, Isaac Sopoaga. We saw Sopoaga in the open introducing himself, and we never got a chance to get to it in that war paint.
Yeah.
From Pango, American Samoa.
Very proud of his heritage, and sticking his tongue out and having a little fun, and he's been playing well this year too. They out of all the guys they talk about up front, he's the one from training camp on who's probably advanced the most.
Second and 10. Flip to the outside. Clemens will try to stop Macklin in his tracks, and he's able to knock him down at about the 27-yard line. But the Philadelphia Eagles right now in field goal range for David Akers.
Yeah, and here comes an interesting call. I think the 49ers may well have to blitz here. You know, a field goal puts you in a tough spot. If you could get a sack, if you could get some pressure and force them back, it would help. But remember, the Eagles probably screen more than any team in the National Football League. That would be my first thought.
Instead, fired over the middle, and it's incomplete. Trying to get it one more time into Brent Selleck. Takeo Spikes back there with the coverage to bust it up, and it's fourth down.
Yeah, the old warrior, Takeo Spikes, just good enough on this one. Number 51 right in the middle of your screen. One-on-one, no doubt. Got his head around just in the nick of time and made a huge play. And we have a huge field goal right now, and the wind that you were talking about before is kicking right now.
46-yard field goal attempt for David Akers, and this one is hooking but stays good just inside the right upright. A little bit of a draw, and it's officially a 45-yard field goal for Akers to make it a two-possession game at 27-17.
Well, the wind, you could see the flags on top of the goalpost. It was whipping just before that kick. And that thing, it's a good thing it wasn't a whole lot farther than that. But David Akers, he has seen it all before. And for Kevin Kolb, he knows how big that kick was. You know, it's interesting with Kevin Kolb. Here's a guy that really is competing with Mike Vick. He's trying to win his job back.
Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. Well, not that that'll be written about at all, right? I mean,
yeah.
The thing about Vick, too, just to update, Andy Reid was telling us yesterday, if he makes as much progress next week as he did in the last 2 days before they left to come here on Friday, he felt he was moving along well enough to be ready possibly to play against Atlanta next week. And that's a game that you know Vick would love to play against his old team in Philadelphia, but that remains to be seen.
And Mike Vick is going to be the quarterback, no doubt about it. But Kevin Kolb, remember, was Andy Reid's choice. You know, when the competition was all said and done, it was Kevin Kolb's job, and Mike Vick in a couple of games won it back. So it'll be an interesting conversation. No question, there's no controversy at this point, but I think this battle is yet to be completely won.
Akers boot, 2-yard line. Ginn. Big Ginn's been running back. Pitched very well tonight. And another one right here. And Ginn trying to pick up some blocking. He's in the Eagle territory. And they angle him out of bounds at the 40-yard line. And it's David Akers who is there along the sideline. So another great run back for Ginn. 61 yards.
There's just no way to practice against this kind of speed. It looked like Ginn was going to be bottled up about halfway through this, almost went into like a neutral gear, and then shot out the backside. And as a defense, you're used to playing against guys of a normal speed, but when Ted Ginn hits those jets, he's had a big impact tonight with those returns.
No question, 49ers had the worst starting field position in the league coming into the game. And part of that reason was that Ginn was on the shelf for 3 games. And now,
this is the first charge timeout. Philadelphia, 30-second timeout.
So Philly takes the timeout on defense. Take a look at Smith. That last drive when everybody wanted Carr in the game, everybody in the stands, they thought he'd be in. And Alex shakes it off. The booing was intense when he he came back into the game, and all he was on that drive was a perfect 5 for 5.
Yeah, and he did it by reading the defenses. He didn't panic. He had that one moment of panic when he scrambled out and lost the football, but he got refocused. He got back to who he has to be as a quarterback. He is an extremely intelligent young man. He has to play intelligently, and on that one play, he did not.
From the 36. Short gain. Clock ticking down to 4 minutes.
Still plenty of time. But remember, you probably need 2, so even a field goal here is fine.
2nd and 10. I was just thinking, when's the last time you saw Andy calling so much defense? I mean, he had the late, great Jim Johnson for years.
False start, number 15, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Sean McDermott took over when Jim died. There he is, the very young and very proficient defensive coordinator. But Andy's been demonstrative tonight on the sideline.
Yeah, I think reminders for new players that are in the game because of some injuries and various things that have happened to this defense.
2nd and 15. Smith, flush, look out. Avoids a shirt tackle and then takes it to the 30-yard line. DeQuay Parker came up, almost got him by the shirt, and then Smith is able to ramble for a few more yards. 11 total on the play to the Philadelphia 30-yard line. 49ers go no huddle here. 3rd and 4. Picking up the pace. They have all of their timeouts and the 2-minute warning, but they're down by 2 possessions. And Smith will throw, and that'll be caught by Crabtree, who does a little spin around and is still able to pick up the first down at the 25-yard line as Quentin Michael makes the tackle.
Yeah, but again, Alex Smith making the perfect read. They come with a blitz off of Crabtree, throw to Crabtree.
Billy comes. Smith flushed out, throws, caught. Crabtree against skirting that sideline and gets inside the 10, and that's going to make it a first down and goal.
Nice job by Crabtree on that one. Stuart Bradley had the assignment to cut off the wide receiver coming across Crabtree. He missed, and that left all the green grass, but it wouldn't have mattered if Alex Smith didn't escape on that play to make the throw.
So a first down and goal at the 9-yard line. Smith has now completed 8 straight. 2:46 left in the 4th. Pressure again. Good pass again. And this is Morgan lunging into the end zone. Did he get there? No. They're going to spot it just outside the goal line.
Yeah, I think his knee hit down just before he managed to get into the end zone. He sort of, it's a nice play design that time, though. Josh Morgan's going to come in short motion and then delay and let all this clear out in front of him, sit there, and then just get it to him quickly right there in behind all that action in front of him.
And you saw Singletary kind of leaning into his mic and headset, seeing if the guys upstairs thought they should be challenged, and they said no. 2nd down and goal at the 1-yard line. Smith. And he just throws that one away. So this one tough yard here. 3rd and goal.
Okay, now I've got to wonder about that one. You've got a quarterback who struggled a little bit tonight. You're on the 1-yard line. You have an offensive line made up of nothing but 1st and 2nd round draft picks. You have Frank Gore. I'm going to get in my yard the old-fashioned way, I think.
Me too. 2 ways to look at this if they don't make it here. Remember, you need a field goal and a touchdown. Obviously, they want a touchdown here. Make it easier to tie the game if they can wind up with the ball again. If you go the other way, it's a possibility. Let's see. 3rd down and goal. The ball is at the 1. comes with 2:02 remaining. So the 49ers, after the extra point, will get within a field goal.
Nice play by Vernon Davis here to understand what had to happen. Gore's just going to split out, and he's going to be wide open. In a minute, I'll show you exactly why. We got an old pro out there in Vernon Davis. We've got a nice little pick.
Now Nedney for the extra point. 7 plays, 36 yards, set up by that great run back. And now the 49ers, they have the 2-minute warning, and they have all 3 timeouts. So it's not necessarily a situation where you have to onside kick. Do you trust your defense?
Right here, watch Vernon Davis come out here and not pick, but just set a little edge and allow Gore to get to the outside without anybody on him. That's the way you do it when you're a pro. You don't make it obvious. You don't run out down there and slam into him. Just go set the edge and allow your guy to make the play. Pretty creative play call there by Mike Johnson. That's some of the things that they saw in him and the reason he's the new offensive coordinator.
Well, the 49ers have lost their only other home game in excruciating fashion. And there were little similarities tonight. They lost to New Orleans. Nice comeback. Came up short. Garrett Hartley made the field goal. And there is the new offensive coordinator, former quarterbacks coach. And now the 49ers, the strategy here is going to be interesting. Do you onside kick it, or do you let it go with all of your timeouts? The 2-minute warning is going to come at the end of the run back.
But it doesn't help them here because the clock would stop anyway on the change of possession. So basically, you've wasted the 2-minute warning.
Right. If you stop with 1 second, you still have the 3 timeouts. Philly expects an onside kick.
There's a lot of green grass in behind that front line, too.
And they kick it away and tell their defense, you got to stop it. Ellis Hobbs for the 3-yard line. And Hobbs will get buried by Bowman at the 21. That takes us to the 2-minute warning. Taylor gets shaken up on the play. 1:56 remaining. All of the timeouts left in San Francisco's bank in a 3-point game.
Had their own personal triumph.
Manning going deep. Touchdown.
Over a brother. And in brotherly love.
Everybody makes mistakes in their lifetime, and they made one.
Next week, it's not personal, it's business. Greatness in the air on Sunday Night Football.
And that's the action next Sunday night. Meanwhile, at the 20-yard line, it's up to the 49er defense to get that ball back. And they begin with a nice play right there. That's Smith. And San Francisco takes its first timeout. So it'll be 2nd down and 13. The Gillette post-game report coming up. Andrew, of course, will have an interview. Bob Toney and Mike Florio wrap up the game, and Chris and I will look ahead to a good one next week. Colts Redskins.
Good one here tonight, too.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, this time the 49ers brought everybody. Safeties, linebackers, everybody. They're selling out to play the run. They're going to put the ball in Kevin Kolb's hand and say, if you don't want us to get the ball back, Kevin Kolb is going to have to be the one to beat us. It'll be man coverage, probably no safety help on this one. Somebody is going to have to make a play on the outside, and Kevin Kolb's going to have to make a big throw.
Jackson wishes he had a shot. They swing it out. McCoy, look at that move, and that gains him another 5 yards. He fakes Clements out instead of it being 3rd down and 7.
But he
it's
went
going to be
down.
3rd and 2. Yep.
Why did he go down? I mean, that's the ball game. He picks up that 1st down and he slides to the ground.
He's mad at himself right now.
Yeah, so are a lot of Eagles fans right now. There's no reason. You're a running back. You don't go down. You don't slide like a quarterback does in that play. That's ridiculous. Ball game. Put it in the win column right here. What is that?
see the first down line come out. I don't know. Maybe is it the rib? Who knows? You know.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You never do that in that situation. Even if you're a quarterback, you don't do that in that situation.
And the 49ers are compelled to use their timeout. Number 2, 32. And Kolb will throw, and that will be batted in the air and incomplete.
Unbelievable.
And that's the perfect play for the San Francisco defense, because not only do they stop them, they don't have to use their last timeout.
Unbelievable. Come with a big sellout blitz. You got your safety on the outside and one-on-one coverage against Selleck. Perfectly done. And right now, LaShawn McCoy may well have made one of the biggest mistakes I've seen this season. Unbelievable.
Ginn sets up at the 25-yard line. He's been a big guy tonight. His rock his kick. And it's a beauty. Ginn at the 21-yard line, gets by the first man, and then steps out of bounds at the 32-yard line. So the Niners are down by a field goal and have one timeout left.
Here's the storyline. Alex Smith scrambling to avoid the blitz. One of the worst plays he could have made. Had a chance to throw the hot read and missed it. Singletary chews him out. He comes back with a beautiful drive the other way. And then answers with yet another. He has been perfect since Singletary almost took him out of the game. But Singletary, for once, not a knee-jerk reaction. He did the right thing. This is the guy that's practiced all week, and now he has a chance to win the game.
And the 49ers put Brian Westbrook in the game. Wide left. Well, that would be over the moon if he's the hero. From the 32-yard line. They go 4-by-1. Receivers on the left side, and then you've got the pass caught by Morgan, and that's going to wind up as a loss and wasted several seconds.
They thought they were going to blitz on that play, and I think that Alex Smith got up there and started doing all this audibly, then they back out, and he had the wrong play he checked to.
Taking it down to a minute, 2nd and 14. Fired over the middle, caught by Davis to the 45-yard line. And Smith says, let's get up here. I got to spike the ball. Come on, save the timeout. Get up here.
Stuart Bradley cannot cover that. Don't be afraid to come back to it again. Stuart Bradley is not a turn-and-run middle linebacker. He's running with his back to one of the great players in the game, and Vernon Davis. Take advantage of it.
And Quentin Michael is hurt, and that's going to stop the clock for an injury timeout.
Vernon Davis right down the middle. You see Stuart Bradley doing the best that he can, but that is not what he does. He is a come-forward kind of a linebacker, not a run-and-chase guy. Might have to change coverages, because if they stay in that, that's the ball I would keep throwing all day.
So Michael has to come off for at least one play. Kurt Coleman, a rookie from Ohio State, is now in the secondary, something that should not escape the 49ers at this point. And after the injury timeout, the ball is at the 44-yard line. And a break there for the 49ers. They saved a down because of the Quentin Michael injury. Instead of having to spike the ball, it's 1st and 10.
Different coverage this time, too, Al.
Pressure. Batted.
Oh, boy, wow. Frank Gore might have scored.
Well, the pressure that time.
Oh, my goodness.
Jaquay Parker came in there and forced that whole issue.
Frank Gore turned around on this one and looked what was behind him. Had that ball come over the top. It's a blitz. Frank Gore sneaks out. Look at that. There is one defender and one blocker down the field. The perfect call. And the ball gets deflected.
2nd down and 10. From the 44-yard line. Third down and 10, 36 seconds and one timeout left.
Oh boy, Alex Smith, Mike Singletary. It is on the line here. You know, Al, this is one of those moments, and you know it. You're 0-4, and you've got to win a game. And Alex Smith, you've got to prove that you can Joe Montana, Steve Young-like win in these situations. And here it is.
Medley warming up on the sideline. His longest ever in this stadium, 53. Pick up the run. It's a wobbly pass and it's intercepted at the 25-yard line, but there's a penalty marker at the Philadelphia 47-yard line. And this might be a hold on Trevor Lindley. Walt Anderson huddling with just about everybody on the crew right now.
Yeah, Joe Staley, if I'm not mistaken, got beat on an inside move, grabbed his man. I think that's going to be the call. I'm just not sure.
Well, the Eagles are exultant right now, so the call, as they understand it, and there are two flags actually. There's one at the 50-yard line, and now there's one at the 47-yard line.
There are two fouls. Holding number 74 of the offense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play was an interception, and after the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 15 of the offense. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced. First down.
So two fouls and a pick, and 0-5 on the horizon.
Yeah, there's Joe Staley. Trent Kolb, remember, had to come back in. He had an injury. But then it was Trevor Laws, I believe. And that is called a pick tough stunt. And it works a lot. I'll try to talk about this a little bit. You'll see the inside tackle come out into the tackle and then take a direct line into the quarterback. It's an old trick, but a good trick. And it worked to perfection right there.
And that interception for Lindley, the rookie out of Kentucky, a fourth-round draft choice this year. And he has just cemented the ball game for the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 3-0 on the road, 0-2 at home. San Francisco stays here. They get Oakland next week. And Andy Reid, shirt sleeves and all, and it's become a coolish night. Will leave town, and that will be a much nicer plane ride into the night.
And for Mike Singletary, I'm sure he's thinking, what does it take for us to get a win? It all fell into place at the end of the game and just could not make plays again.
Blown out twice. The 49ers have now suffered 3 excruciating losses. Up next, the Gillette post-game report.
It was a good win. It's tough to win on the road, in particular this far west against what I think is a good football team. The things just haven't bounced their way, and you know, Mike Singletary, I think, does a heck of a job. Those guys are. He has a tough football team, and that defense that's out there. I think you know, I game plan against them all week, and that's a tough bunch, man, to get yards on, and likewise their offense. They're working some things out. They've got some young guys in there, but they're explosive at times on that defensive side too. And then special teams have Ginn back. What a difference that made for him. Again, an explosive player. Once they get him back in the offense, you get another explosive player in there. But anyways, all in all, I'm proud of my football team. I think you know, they played their hearts out. 5 takeaways on defense. Quentin got his first touchdown as a pro, and then offensively, McCoy, you got to give him credit, man. He's a tough kid. There was no doubt that he was going to play, and he practiced. He went places a lot of people won't go, with a broken rib at 92 yards carrying the football and 138 total yards. And then Kevin Kolb had 103 quarterback rating. Michael's still a starting quarterback, so we won't get that controversy going there. So So that's what it is. Hey, you know what? I think he did a pretty good job. I look at the tape and see there's some things I think he could have done better. I think he'll tell you that there are a couple throws he'd like to have back, but I thought all in all he managed the game well. He was accurate. He wouldn't. There was no hesitation putting the ball in tight holes, and he did it with conviction. And I thought he just stepped up and played like Kevin, like we know Kevin can play. So I know our guys have so much confidence in him that everybody was right with him there.
I thought it was every aspect of the game we did that. Dave made a huge kick. Defense obviously played their butts off. They had 5 takeaways, and we're dead tired there at the end, and we're able to get a takeaway again. And then offense did what we had to do. So across the board, I thought everybody did a good job matching their intensity and finishing up there in the fourth quarter. I felt pretty good. We had a really good week of work and across the board from everybody, and I was very confident going in today. And that's what you have to be as a quarterback in this situation. I mean, their backs were against the wall, and we knew they were going to bring a lot of intensity, a lot of energy, and we've seen what they had done in the past whenever they had that kind of energy. So Andy told us, play emotional football and play discipline, physical football. I feel like we did that today and battled all the way to the end. And that's what we want to do. We just said go play football like we know how to play football, and that's what we were able to do today.
How was this different because of the first quarter?
It was a lot different. I mean, I felt different all the way up throughout the week, especially coming over here for 2 days early, and we felt like we've been here for a week already, So there were a lot of changes, but you got to be used to them. You got to get used to them in a hurry. And we were so focused on winning this football game, nothing else mattered. And I try to reiterate that through the week, that it didn't matter about my play, it didn't matter about LaShawn playing banged up or what, defense, whatever it was. It was just we were going to come in here and try to win, and that's what you're most proud of whenever that happens.
I was in a little bit of pain, nothing too much. You got to put all that stuff behind. The game like this, we need a big win, a away game. All the guys, man, preparing, the whole week. I mean, a lot of guys are banged up. It shows the type of heart they have. And me, I don't want to let them down. So I came out, preparing myself to play. With Kevin, see, the thing with the offense that we all know is when Kevin comes out and has a good game, nobody's surprised. We know how a great player he is. In the beginning of the season, he was a star quarterback, all the way through camp. So we know what type of player he is and what he's going to be. So it's no surprise when he goes out there and manage the game the way he did and put points up and make plays. No surprise. Kevin's a hard-working and a great quarterback. I mean, it just happens that we have 2 great ones on our team.